So, what jobs qualify for an EB-5 project, and why do I, as an investor, care? We get this question a lot, folks, and so I wanted to have a short video on this topic. Again, my name's Charles Rather. I'm the founding partner of AmLaw Group. We're based in Miami, Florida, where we do a lot of EB-5. We're a boutique law firm focusing on business immigration, working with investors, high net worth individuals, and other entrepreneurs who are trying to make a transition to the U.S. based on their investments, their businesses, or their professional passions, if you want to call it that. So today I want to talk about the EB-5 and job counts. Now, if you are investing in an EB-5, investing in your own business, which we call a direct investment, job classification and job counts are really important. So I'll talk about that a little bit, but less than 5% of EB-5 applicants invest in their own business. The vast majority, 95% or more, go through a regional center. And if you're going through a regional center, you don't have to worry too much about the jobs. I mean, you do, it's important. Nobody's going to give you, any slack about that. But because you're working for working with a regional center, and presumably you're working with a reliable regional center, and if you need any recommendations, suggestions for reliable regional centers, you know who to talk to. We're certainly happy to put you in touch with regional centers that we feel confident in for our clients. But my question, or the point rather, is, if we're looking at the job creation, what jobs count and why is that important? Like I said, maybe we can deal with the regional center side first. That's less important for you. The regional centers do the business plan. They hire the economists to do the calculations for not only the direct jobs, but also the indirect jobs. And it's those indirect jobs that are most important for regional center projects. And in part, that's what makes regional center investments so appealing. Because in some cases, regional center projects will only rely on the indirect job creation. They don't really care how many people work at that hotel once the hotel is finished. There could be a recession and they don't hire anybody at that hotel. And it won't affect the EB-5 investors' petitions one bit. Now, why is that? Because when you're working with a regional center, under the law, they're allowed to calculate indirect jobs. So what's an indirect job? Well, it means somebody who's not working for directly on the payroll of the project in which you're investing. So let's say it's a hotel. Well, until the hotel is finished and you've got actually, personnel working there, you have no direct jobs, right? The only jobs that would exist are indirect. And so that's a big advantage for a regional center project, is that they can count all those construction jobs, contractor jobs, and they can even count jobs that don't even exist as far as we know. They're just mathematical calculations. I won't get into all the details, but basically what it means is that by using certain econometric software that's allowed by the US government, they can say, okay, we're going to build a $50 million project here. We know by basic economic principles that this is going to have a positive effect in the surrounding community based on such an injection of cash and developing a project like this. And so using this software, they're able to make calculations of approximately how many positive extra jobs are going to be created in the surrounding community. And the regional center is then able to count and use those jobs for purposes of the EB-5 program. So it's ingenious, actually, right? And it's I think it's appropriate as well, because anytime you have a large project, there is going to be a significant influx of jobs and job creation in the area. So that's one thing that makes regional center projects so appealing. Like I said, that hotel might be finished and it might just be a dog of a project. They hire nobody. And it doesn't matter in most cases. Again, you have to look at the business plan and the econometrics for your particular project to see how many direct jobs are they going to count and how many indirect. But very often, they only rely on the indirect jobs anyway. So even if the hotel, doesn't hire anybody, it's not going to affect your green card, whether it's your temporary or your permanent green card. Now, if the hotel is a dog, doesn't hire anybody, doesn't make any money, well, obviously they're going to have problems returning the money to you. So the financial side is a different issue, right? So God forbid, but if there's any problems with the operations, that could affect the project's ability to return the funds to you, but it shouldn't affect your ability to get your green card and keep your green card. Now, where job classification becomes really important is if you're investing in your own business. So a direct investment, you've got to create the jobs yourselves. And here's the thing, you could have a project, your own personal business, where you sign an agreement with the regional center for them to support or sponsor your project. Now, if it's just one investor, it usually doesn't make sense to pay the expenses to a regional center to have them sponsor your project. The additional job creation from the indirect jobs is usually very minimal. If you're investing, let's say $1 million, I would say on average, maybe you get maybe 2 indirect jobs off $1 million, maybe 3, best case. So for somebody that might be important, because let's say they only think they can hire 8 people, they can't hire 10 people, there's just no need for it. Maybe in that case, it might make sense to hire a regional center to support your, to sponsor your project so that they could cover those missing jobs. But where the indirect jobs and direct job analysis is important generally is when you're opening your own business. And assuming you're not retaining or hiring a regional center, that means if you're just doing a direct investment, got a typical business like everybody else, you're going to have to hire 10 people on your payroll. And those 10 jobs will be necessary for your EB-5 approval. Those have to be full-time W-2 employees, can't be 1099 subcontractors. They have to work a minimum of 36 hours a week. So, there's certain companies that maybe aren't conducive for this, like say, for example, trucking companies, because truck drivers usually work as 1099s, right? They're not sitting on a salary or working on an hourly basis. So trucking companies can be difficult sometimes for EB-5. So you just need to keep that in mind, that you've got to create these 10 jobs. They have to be W-2 jobs. And they have to work a minimum amount of hours. And it has to be more or less a market salary too. USCIS generally doesn't get too demanding about the salary, but if it's clearly you're paying them a salary much below market levels, they might raise some issues with that and they might challenge that in the business plan. So I hope this was helpful, enlightening, maybe a little bit too much technical detail, but for some people I think it was of value to evaluate the jobs creation and what's necessary, what's not, when you're looking at an EB-5 investment. And if that's the route you're looking to go and you do have questions, whether you want to invest in your own business or a regional center, please reach out to us and I will be more than happy to advise you on the best route to take for you and your family.